Right, ready, go.
Ready, go. Hi everybody, here we are back again. It's Angela and Karen, and this time on our podcast, our perspective is going to be around domestic abuse, which is quite a tricky subject and complex subject. So we're going to start off with a definition of domestic abuse, and this has come from the Women's Aid charity, and they define domestic abuse as an incident or pattern of incidents of controlling, coercive, threatening, degrading and violent behaviour, including sexual violence, and in the majority of cases by a partner or an ex-partner, but also by family members or carers.
And we've just finished running a course for survivors of domestic abuse in conjunction with an absolutely fabulous local charity called the Property Angels Foundation. So we'll talk a little bit more later on about how hypnotherapy can help in that environment.
Yeah. And so let's start by talking a little bit about what it can be. So what can domestic abuse be? It can be physical, emotional, sexual, or through threats or intimidation. And we do tend to think of it in terms of a partner, such as a husband, a wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend, when in fact it can be any member acting as the abuser or anyone being abused. So we shouldn't really make assumptions around that.
Yeah, and you're right, and we do tend to make that assumption, don't we? But so it's worth pointing that out. Physical abuse can take the form of hitting, punching or slapping. It might be burning or scorching or biting, kicking or choking, pushing, shoving or throwing things.
And all of those sound so, I don't know what the word is for it, but it's worrying, isn't it, to think that goes on, that sort of abuse can take place in a relationship.
And I think they're very much in terms of a physical impact. And obviously there are all the emotions around physical, pain and all of those things, but there's very much an emotional angle to all of this as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. An emotional abuse as well, though, can take the form of insults, putting you down, controlling what you wear and say and think, which I think sometimes people don't actually realise that this can be emotional abuse when someone's trying to control what you say and what you think, denying the abuse and gaslighting what you're saying, keeping you isolated or isolating you from friends and family. That's quite a big one, isn't it?
And I think often that can be a starting point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because once they've got you to a place of isolation, then the resources that you would need to help you combat or resist these other symptoms, and then you're isolated away from them, aren't you?
That's right, they're almost taken away from you, aren't they? And making unreasonable demands, controlling your finances, that is in itself is such a major one. So that takes away your freedom
and your power.
Yeah, I think. And then you've got things like sexual abuse that can take a form of making unwanted sexual advances or demands of you, being touched when you don't want to be, or forcing you to have sex when you don't want to as well. But generally overriding or ignoring that need for consent to that sexual relationship.
Threats and intimidation can take the form of threatening to hurt those you care about, or even sometimes to kill family members or those very close to you.
And that's so scary, isn't it? And that just keeps people locked within that area, within that relationship, because they'd be so worried about other people they really care about.
And perhaps people, to an extent, are able to live, I don't say they function, but are able to live in an environment of fear. But the fact then of it impacting those outside of that, your family, your parents, or even the children, that would be the extra lever, I think, for a lot of people, wouldn't it, in terms of being able to control and to manipulate. Perhaps you think, I will tolerate this for myself, particularly if it means other people will not be hurt or damaged. But I think the fact then that other people would be dragged into that scenario would just be excruciating for a lot of people, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It might be things that maybe start off in a more harmless way or seem to, perhaps following you or harassing you. And generally we hear lots of horror stories, don't we, about how this escalates then into much more difficult situations for people.
Yeah.
And it might be something really invasive, like insisting on reading your private texts, letters, emails, or other communications that perhaps you'd have with people outside of the immediate environment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, lots of people end up having to change their phone numbers. They block their, block accounts and all sorts of things. But there are people find clever ways.
They do.
The abuser will find a clever way of getting around all of these systems.
And not everybody is savvy enough, or it feels able to seek the help in terms of being able to manage, particularly sort of the more recent electronic communications. It's a difficult challenge, isn't it? Particularly when you're feeling vulnerable and perhaps your confidence has been undermined. So many of these things are cumulative, aren't they, and interlinked. If it makes you vulnerable in one area, then it impacts on your ability to function in another.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, you're in that mode of fight, aren't you?
Yeah.
The whole time, protection, trying to protect what's around you, and the things that are important to you. So I think there are things that can be done to support those experiencing domestic abuse, and a couple of those just now are taking the time to listen without interruption, because sometimes people just want to talk. They don't want advice, they don't want you telling them what to do, they don't want you questioning what they're doing, they just want you to listen. And that's such a huge support for people. And then just in terms of advice, just only giving it if you're directly asked to do so, because it can come across as being negative towards what it is that they're doing already. Or you don't want to overload that person or add to their burden by suggesting things that they may not actually be able to do. And then they'll feel like, oh, I can't even do that either. That's what you think I should do, but I can't do that. So there's lots around doing that.
And I think in both of our working lives, we know that actually how difficult it can be to do that. To listen to someone and to not interrupt, to not to try and solve the problem with them, not to criticise them or not to make them, as you say, feel overwhelmed in other ways. That listening thing is actually a really difficult thing to do.
It is.
And also, obviously, it's natural if you love someone and you care about someone, or someone is telling you a horrific story, it's very natural, it's very human to want to be able to step in and help and to solve. But you have to remember, as you say, that it can be perceived as criticism or pressure or things that people just are not in the right headspace to be able to cope with at that time. So very difficult to be around and to watch, and you almost endure it secondhand, I think, don't you? You endure the behaviour secondhand.
You absolutely do, and it is very difficult. I suppose one of the best things that you can do is actually say, would you like advice? Would you like me to give you advice, or would you just like me to listen to you? Whatever you need, I'm here for you to do what you need. Because it might be that they just want to sound it out. They just want to get those thoughts out of their head, but they don't want anyone telling them what they should do. Particularly if they're in a relationship already where somebody is just telling them what to do all the time, so it's very tricky, but they are things that you can do.
Definitely. As I say, I think to be around it and to not judge and just be supportive is the right thing to do. It's also incredibly difficult.
It is incredibly difficult. We're not saying it's an easy thing to do. So what do you think in terms of hypnotherapy? How do we go about supporting people?
Well, we'll talk more generally first, and I think in terms of hypnotherapy, the focus would very much be on, first of all, providing a safe place for someone to talk and to support, and to use techniques and tools to increase confidence, self-esteem and self-worth, and also to reduce the almost inevitable anxiety that someone would be suffering. I think we'd be working actively with the client to, first of all, I think reduce the mental load of the situation, because that clouds and impacts all of the decision making and all of those things. So I think that's really, really important, just to reduce that mental load and sort of work away at that. And I think then following on from that, it would be about enabling to regain their logic and decision making skills, And you would ultimately be aiming to get them to a place where they're able to look ahead and to work towards having a happy life again.
Yeah. So we mentioned earlier that we've been doing some work with survivors of domestic abuse, and this is something that we've really enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
I think we've learnt a lot ourselves
Absolutely.
from the lovely ladies that we've been working with. And so we ran a course, didn't we, for 6 weeks?
Yeah, we did. And we should say here, actually, all of the people on the course were ladies, but as we've already said and we'll mention again, it's not exclusively a female issue. It can be males as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we met an absolutely amazing bunch of women, didn't we?
We did,
What a joy and a privilege it was to work with them, I think.
It was.
It was just an amazing experience. I really can't think of when I have got so much joy and satisfaction. I mean, I love my job, as I know you do too, but it was something completely different, and they were fabulous, you know.
They were so engaged in what we were trying to support them with, and the tools and the techniques that we were passing on to them to use. They talked to us about using them and the next week and how they felt, and it was just really, really helpful. And as you were saying earlier, this is what we did. We were trying to help to reduce the mental load of the situation, giving them skills around logic and decision making and confidence, and just really, really trying to support them with their moving on, the next phase of whatever it is that they were going to do. And it was absolutely brilliant. And like we said earlier, it was in collaboration with the Property Angels Foundation, which is a local charity to us, and they do fantastic work. So.
Amazing women. Yeah, absolutely amazing women. So it was fabulous, and as you say, it was very much about that journey. We ran it over 6 weeks, 2-hour sessions, and you know, obviously we did track the progress, didn't we? And we sort of engaged with them at regular points, and we were also able to provide them with some resources as well. So we gave them a link to the audio file that I use with clients to improve the quality of their sleep, and you did some recordings for them as well, didn't you?
Yeah, so that was all good, and I think they were really felt positively about it, and we'll be doing that again. So we've agreed to do more courses when needed, which was really helpful.
Yeah, it was just an amazing experience, and you know, really hopeful that we get the opportunity to do that again.
Yeah,
I think it was mutually beneficial, wasn't it? I know we ran it for them, and of course we did run it for them, but actually, as you said, I think we got so much out of it ourselves as well.
Well, you just learn from other people. I always, you know, as a therapist, I will always advocate this as well. Any good therapist will learn from their clients.
Of course.
You know, you don't go in as the person who's on a higher level. You know, you're there, you're facilitating, you're working with somebody. And you can learn from each other, and it's a fantastic job to have.
And in fact, continuing professional development is something that we are expected to participate in, and it's a natural part of the environment in which we work, don't we? The therapist community.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yes, that's brilliant.
It was brilliant. We loved it.
We had a fantastic time.
We really did.
And as Karen said, we're reiterating again the fact that there are advice lines for men as well as for women around this subject, which is really important. And they're all available on the NHS website, and our government website also has some good information to support if you or somebody you know feels like this may be something that they're experiencing. So we will post those along with our podcast so that they're available, the websites are available for people to look at.
So this week in particular, I think feels very close to our heart, doesn't it? You know, we wanted to do this subject after we'd done the work with the domestic abuse survivors, and so this one's been particularly joyful for me, although it's a really grim subject. I think in terms of hope and optimism and things that you can do to help, you know, I think that's really important.
Yeah, very important.
So I hope that was helpful and of interest. And now, Angela, let's finish in our normal way. So here we go again, giggles and blank minds. Angela, what's been good?
What's been good? I know, it is like that, isn't it? What's been good? Well, since the last podcast, what's been good? So for me, what's been good is that my husband and I were able to go to our niece's wedding, which was beautiful. It was a lovely, lovely day. We had a thoroughly good time, and it's something we've been working towards. So yeah, it was really, really nice. So it was fabulous to do that. That was really good.
Great.
What else has been good? I met up with another friend.
You have other friends?
This weekend. I do. I have lots of other friends.
Oh,
as do you. As do you.
Yeah, okay.
And we went round the wonderful shop that you start at one end and you have to walk all the way around it to get to the other.
Oh.
So we did a little trip there, which was good fun. But I've also had last week had the pleasure of hosting my friend's daughter, who is travelling around the UK and the Netherlands at the moment. She's doing 5 weeks. She's 19, bless her. Solo travelling, having such a wonderful time. She's from Canada, and she came and stayed with us for 5 nights, which was, I just felt was lovely, because obviously I'm a bit older than she is. And,
you little bit.
Why would you want to come and stay with us?
Well, you're quite nice, really, aren't you?
So it was really lovely to have her around. So yeah. So that was really good fun.
Yeah, I met her briefly, didn't I? She did seem like a lovely girl, I have to say. All the things you said about her. Yeah. Okay, those are both absolutely gorgeous. I would like one more.
Oh, one more. What else has been good? Good question. Oh! I'll tell you what else has been good.
It's funny, isn't it? We can keep going for another 20 minutes.
Just popped into my head. I've ordered a new mattress for the bed.
Oh, well, that is brilliant, isn't it?
So we've had the old one 11 years.
Oh,
you're supposed to do it after 8.
Oh.
So I am really, really looking forward to a really lovely night's sleep. Here's my new mattress.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. So
Okay.
4 weeks. It should be here in 4 weeks.
Okay. So have you got a chuff chart, crossing off the days?
Not quite.
Okay. Something to think about later. You got any spare time?
Days till a new mattress. But yes,
Okay,
I'm looking
that's
forward
really
to that.
Good.
Because I'm always talking to people about sleep and how you need to, need to have good sleep. So yeah, I feel like I am practicing that now, so that's good.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, everyone. It's been lovely.
No, you're not getting away with it, Karen. I see what you're doing there.
Damn.
It is now your time to share with our lovely listeners and myself what you have found positive and what you've been grateful for over the last few weeks.
Okay. Right, so, first of all, obviously, they were our lovely ladies, weren't they? And we really enjoyed writing up the evaluation report and talking to the Property Angels Foundation about how it had gone afterwards.
Yeah.
The main thing in my life for what feels like the last 2 months is my shed.
You're fantastic.
/ summer house. I'm not quite sure what we're calling it really. I think it's probably more summer housey than sheddy.
I think it's a summer house.
But it will serve a shed function. So that's been a major project. I demolished the old shed by myself, which I was very chuffed about. I think I may have mentioned that before. Then I had to extend the base because this is a super duper enhanced and bigger version. So I did that. And then obviously had the new shed delivered, stained it myself in the garage because obviously the weather's been a bit iffy, hasn't it, in July in the UK. And then some lovely helpers have helped me put it up in the garden. So, I say help me, I think I helped them, really. I don't want to big up my role. So that's been it's just been a really big project, but I'm loving it and it's nearly finished now. So
it looks wonderful.
It looks amazing. Yeah, I'm really happy about it.
And what else?
I thought I talked about that for a long time. Okay, I'm about to book another holiday with my lovely niece Christy. We do a lot of things together. So we're going to book a week away, I think, in September. So that'd be nice. In fact, I actually might be away for my birthday, which will be quite a nice thing to do.
Lovely.
Yeah. In fact, I think we're thinking of going to Menorca, and I think I was in Menorca for my 40th birthday as well. There's a bit of symmetry there, isn't there?
There is.
So that's great, isn't
lovely
it?
Place.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Anything else?
Oh,
Go on, just one little one.
Okay, well, I'm making this sound like a chore, aren't I? So, what else? What else? Why do I not think about these things in advance?
It wouldn't be so much fun.
It wouldn't. The squirming is part of the fun, isn't it, really? Okay, so what else? Oh, I know. We're going to go and look at some venues today, aren't we? Which is quite exciting.
That is exciting.
There's some further coursework that we're going to do. We're looking at running some other events now that we've had so much success with the one for our lovely domestic abuse survivors. So we're going off on a tour in my car later on. We'll have a look at some venues, and I think that'll be good as well. Yeah, it's another step forward, so it's very positive.
Another step forward.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've come to the end of the podcast today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back soon.
We will. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.